Okay, well, in this video we're going to talk about the consequences of interruptions in a conversation. This is a project for discourse analysis class, and well, I am Mario Rafael and here is Claudia Elizabeth.
To begin with this presentation, we have the purpose of our research. We have that our main purposes are to know the different problems that can appear when, in a conversation, one speaker interrupts the other. And the other purpose is to recognize the consequences that finish with the flow of a conversation and how they react or solve that specific particular situation.
Okay, talking about the participants, we chose a video in which 4 people are talking about the differences between Star Trek and Star Wars movies, films.
The procedure and instruments used in this research. Well, first of all, there will be created a transcript of 20 minutes discussion based on a video found on the internet about these people talking about these two films. The transcript will be analyzed by using different concepts seen in class, and the video will be analyzed as well to solve the research questions, which are very important in this research. And these questions are the next ones.
Well, these are the research questions that we made for this analysis, and we have these ones. Number one, when in a conversation we find interruptions more frequently, and number two, how do the speakers deal with those interruptions and continue with the conversation?
The main concepts used in this research are interruptions, transactions and exchanges, turn-taking, references, and hesitations. The first one is interruptions. That means when a person disturbs the another person who is talking. And transactions and exchanges belong to the Birmingham model and is how people follow a pattern in a conversation. Then we have the turn taken, that is the period of time or the times that one person takes to express an idea. Then we have the references. There are 3 types of references: the anaphoric, exaphoric, and cataphoric references. In this video it was kind of difficult to find the cataphoric and anaphoric references, but there are a lot of exaphoric references in this. Then we have hesitations. These are the pauses that one person takes to think about what he or she is going to say next. So hesitations are very common in this type of videos or this type of conversations, and they can be difficult to understand for people, and more when you are not a native speaker.
Well, let's talk about the main topic, that it's interruptions. And well, interruptions, we found in this video approximately 35 interruptions, and it is important to mention that we identify 2 main types of interruptions. The first one is when a person is talking and another one is interrupting, and then the person that was talking stop to talk and let the other person express his or her ideas. And the second type of interruptions that we found was when a person is talking and the other one interrupts, and the person who was actually talking raise or increase the volume of his or her voice to continue talking and don't be interrupted. In this case, the interruption is avoided by raising the volume of the voice, and well, that's the main 2 types of interruptions that we found in that in this video. Well, that we listened to an example of an interruption in the video that we analyzed.
Then we have the next concept in this list, where this concept is transactions. And we have this one with Andy Northwell and Casey McKinnon. And for example, this man says, okay, now Star Wars and Star Trek, the two most successful science fiction franchises, I think, in history. These words that I just said are the framing words in this foreign, and then which one's better in red is the initiation. And with the response of this lady, Star Trek is how we complete this pattern, which is framing words, initiation, and response. So this, following this pattern, we have to say that this is an example of a transaction.
Okay, here we have another example of transaction in which Andy said, oh well, wait a minute, that is the framing words, and then he asks, do with next works coming up then, and that is the initiation. And finally, Mary Forrest said, let's hope so, and that will be the response. So that is another structure of transaction. And well, we're going to listen to the example of the previous frame.
Now, Star Wars and Star Trek, the two most successful science fiction franchises, I think, in history. Which one's better?
Then we have turn taking. We found in this research that there is no balance between the participation or talking time. We found that some of them talked less, and there is just one participant who talked more than the others. In the transcript or the video, you can find that Mary Forrest talked 31 turns, spending around 3 minutes or more in most of her turns. So if you check the transcript, you can see that Mary Forrest is the one who is talking more during the whole video. She doesn't stop talking. And then with the Stephen Melcher, he talked 3 or 4 turns approximately. It means that he was the one who talked less.
And well, we're going to listen to Mary, that is the one that talked more time in the video.
I prefer the idea of future we're almost done with that. So that's a good thing, I think. But I think that it's very difficult to talk about Star Trek and Star Wars franchises, because even within those communities, the Voyager is the best post-original series spin-off for Deep Space Nine. Like, you're even going to have clashes there. And with Star Wars, people who are loyal to the first film and Empire Strikes Back, and maybe to some degree the Jedi, because of its nostalgic value, and the total disconnect that happens with the prequels. Like, if you try and look at that franchise as a whole too, it's very difficult to say my affinity is for the original story, and I have all of these provisos of why this is good and this isn't good, or whatever. I think that's what teaches us over time that if your franchise lives that long, in a way, I mean, it's like Marilyn Monroe and James Dean dying so young. We can see them preserved in their purpose.
As you can see, this woman takes a lot of time when she is speaking, and that means that the complete video is about her idea.
Okay, talking about references in the video, as we mentioned before, the main ones that we found was exophoric, and that is because if you don't know anything about Star Trek or Star Wars, you may find difficult to understand, or you may lose the sense of the discussion or of the video, because there are different exophoric references. And well, here we have some examples.
We have this reference with Robert Burnett. He's saying, what I found really insidious about what's happened with the Star Wars is the fact that what they've done with Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker. So if you haven't watched this movie, so you cannot know what they have done with these two characters mentioned. So you need to watch the movie to understand what he is talking about. And Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker, you can say, who are they? Because you haven't watched this movie. So you need to watch it in order for you to know these two characters and understand what he is talking about.
Here we have another exophoric reference example, in which Mary says that instead of the Wookiee planet, we see the Ewoks. So a person who never have seen before Star Wars may find difficult to understand what is the Wookiee planet and who are the Ewoks. So that's clearly an example of exophoric references to, and in this video that we analyzed, we found a lot of them.
Then we have the next concept, which is hesitation. And we have to mention that hesitation may disturb the flow of a conversation. Why? Because maybe if you are listening to a person and then this person has a lot of hesitations on his talk, you can lose the meaning, you can lose the main idea of what he or she is saying. So maybe hesitations are the ones that interrupt the flow of a conversation. For example, Mary says, right, well, my favorite actually, I think both weakness, fine, I don't know, had problems, but these hesitations make you not understand what she's saying. So if you are not a native speaker, that will be very difficult for you to understand what she's trying to express.
Here we have another example in which Mary says, yeah, and that even so, in regard this, I mean, and well, then she continued expressing her idea. In this case, the hesitation helped her to think about what he's going to say, what she's gonna say in the next, and so she uses hesitations to think and to reflect of what she is going to say next, and then she can express her ideas in a clearly way.
Happening in that period is both history. So I think that's the key. When it turns into a successful film that spawns a franchise, it's money. It becomes how do you.
Well, that was an example of one of the hesitations that we found in the video, and we actually we found a lot of them.
Then we have this definition of interruptions. For example, as Tanya mentioned in Gender and Discourse in 1994, some people think that an interruption is a hostile act with the interrupter and an aggressor, and the interrupted as an innocent victim. Furthermore, it is founded on the premise that interruption is a means of social control, an exercise of power and dominance. So you can find this definition in this book, The Gender and Discourse. And many people argue about this concept, but this definition will be discussed in the following slide.
Well, what we found in that video is that in this case, interruptions are not used to have like an aggression, but instead we found that interruptions in this video helped to participants to add more ideas or to add more information about the topic, And well, as we mentioned before, in some cases the participants raise their volume of their voices to continue talking and avoid interruptions, to say or express important ideas about the topic. So that's like a solution to interruptions, to raise the voice, the volume of the voice or the tone. And well, also we have the hesitations that, as we mentioned, it helps to the participant to think about what he is going to say and express in a correctly way, but at the same time it may make the conversation difficult to understand what they are saying.
And going back to the definition, it says at the end, furthermore, it is founded in the premise that interruption is a means of social control and exercise of power and dominance. So when a person is interrupted and he or she is raising the volume of her voice, we can say that she is she's doing this to solve this problem, as to have the power and dominance of the conversation. So if you don't want to be interrupted, you can raise your volume of the voice and continue talking as normal. The discussion, well, we found that interruptions make the conversation difficult to understand, and it is more common in discussion and natural talks. If you found a panel or a panel in which a moderator is controlling the conversation, you cannot find a lot of interruptions because, as I mentioned, one person is having the control of the participation. And if you want to find interruptions, well, you can look for discussions and natural talks with your friends and family, or um, with people who are talking about a topic and they are not being controlled by other people. And but if interruptions are not so bad, because just this help the conversation to have a variety within the topic. If you are talking about one specific topic, maybe another person can interrupt you and introduce another topic, and in this way don't have a conversation about one just main topic.
Well, as a conclusion, we can say that this project helps us to understand how people react or deal with interruptions during a conversation or a discussion, and how it affects the flow of their ideas. It was really interesting for us to see that in a discussion, people tend to use more hesitation and they lose the sentence order, changing pronouns or nouns, or for other different type of sentences, or adding more other different types of ideas.
During a conversation, some people like to participate more than others, and these other people who are not participating just keep listening others' ideas. And this research was really interesting for us because we can say that in a conversation you can keep talking about what you are saying if you raise your tone of voice, and also you can find more interruptions in a natural talk or in a discussion where many people can share ideas and want to participate at the same time. So that would be really good if we continue in a deep research about this topic.
Okay, well, that's all for us, and thank you for watch our video.